All right, so listeners got this big move coming up, right? UK bound.
Big
Huge. Early next year, it sounds like, and they want to know about, well,
all their stuff, what to do with it.
exactly, getting it all the way across the ocean. That's where we come in with a little help from our friends at XRT Logistics and this, honestly, really in-depth guide they put together.
Seriously comprehensive.
It really is. So we're diving into all things container shipping.
Your shortcut to stress-free, hopefully.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Let's start with the basics for anyone who hasn't shipped, their entire life overseas in a big metal box. What exactly is container shipping?
Yeah, you're not just like chucking boxes in the back of a truck anymore.
Wait, this is different.
Way different. We're talking about those massive steel containers you see on cargo ships, the ones that look like, honestly, they could survive anything.
Built to last.
Exactly. Super secure, weatherproof. And the best part, compared to air freight, which, let's be real, would cost a fortune for a whole household,
Oh, tell me about it.
container shipping is surprisingly easy on the wallet.
Okay, that's good to know. But these containers, how much can you actually fit in one? I mean, we're talking about a whole house here, potentially.
Right, and it'll depend. They've got different sizes. The article mentions a 20-footer, which is great if you're working with less, maybe a smaller move. But then there's the 40-footer, which, for a whole house early next year, that's probably your best bet.
Like a moving truck, but on water.
Exactly. Think of it as packing an entire extra house.
Okay, that's a serious amount of stuff.
Yeah.
What if, say, I don't have enough to fill a whole container? Hypothetically, of course.
Funny you should ask. The whole reason XRT put this guide together was because someone on Reddit, no joke, wanted to know about shipping a half container.
You're kidding?
Nope, they actually specialize in it. Perfect for, like you said, if you're downsizing or maybe you just don't have that much to move.
A half container. That's amazing. They've really thought of everything.
They really have. It's all about finding the right fit for you.
I love that. Half container, full container, whatever floats your boat.
Right.
Or should I say, ships your belongings.
There you go.
Okay, but speaking of getting all that stuff ready to go, this XRT guide had some packing tips that honestly blew my mind. Like, I consider myself a pretty organized packer.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to be, but this took it to a whole other level.
They weren't messing around. I especially loved the part about disassembling furniture, beds, desks, anything you can manage, really.
Oh, that's a good one. I never would have thought of that.
Makes a world of difference. You're basically creating a giant jigsaw puzzle of your belongings, but in a good way.
So it all fits nice and snug.
Exactly.
Mm.
And they were serious about the wrapping, too. Bubble wrap, furniture blankets.
Protect those corners.
Absolutely. But you know what really stood out to me? The electronics. They said, use the original packaging whenever possible.
Okay, that's genius
Yeah.
in theory. Who keeps those giant TV boxes, though?
Right. But they had some good workarounds for that, like sturdy boxes, and of course bubble wrap makes another appearance.
The hero of every move.
It really is. And don't forget to label those boxes fragile, big, and bold.
Oh, for sure. Don't want your prized flat screen getting crushed under a stack of books.
Exactly.
Okay, so everything is packed up tight, labeled, and ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm picturing that container ship now, loaded up with all your stuff, making its way across the Atlantic.
That's gonna take a while, right?
It's definitely a journey. Think more like a leisurely cruise than a speedboat.
Okay, so we're talking weeks.
Yeah, on average, about 6 to 8 weeks from, say, the U.S. East Coast to the U.K., give or take.
See, I was expecting it to be way longer. 6 to 8 weeks. That's not bad at all.
Not bad, especially considering the distance, but it does highlight the need for, planning ahead.
Oh, for sure. Don't wait till the last minute to figure this out.
Especially since our listener is looking at early next year, potentially March or April, which are, well,
Prime moving time.
exactly. Things can get a little booked up, so the earlier you start the process.
The better. Like scoring those concert tickets everyone's after.
Okay, so we've talked about what container shipping is, how long it takes, but now the big question. Who's actually doing the packing and loading? Are we hiring help or, I don't know, calling in all the favors from friends?
Right, because packing up a whole house? That's a next level task. It's a tough one. I mean, on one hand, you've got the full service movers, the pros.
The dream. They come in, pack everything up for you.
Exactly. You just point and they make it disappear.
No heavy lifting, no bubble wrap burns.
They handle it all. Packing, loading, even all that paperwork, which, let's be honest, nobody enjoys.
Sounds pretty tempting, not gonna lie. But I'm guessing that level of service comes with a
price tag. And it's not always cheap.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
You're paying for the convenience for sure.
Yeah.
But for those of us working with a tighter budget, good old DIY is always an option.
Oh, absolutely. If you're up for a little or a lot of work, packing yourself can definitely save you some money.
Plus, you know exactly where everything is.
Exactly. Complete control over the packing process. For someone like me who's maybe a little too particular about how things are arranged, it's actually kind of appealing. But you're trading time for those savings.
Right, because packing a whole house takes time. Not to mention the potential for back pain from all that lifting and bending.
Oh, definitely. And let's not forget the risk. One wrong move with a heavy box or a fragile heirloom, and you could have a problem on your hands.
That's true. You're assuming more responsibility that way. Okay, so we've got full service for peace of mind, DIY for budget control, both good options depending on what you're looking for.
Exactly. It all comes down to personal preference.
Now, onto the part that always makes me a little nervous, even with regular travel.
Yeah.
Customs. What do we need to know to make sure our container doesn't get stuck in customs limbo?
Right, because nobody wants their stuff held hostage by paperwork. But honestly, it's not as scary as it sounds, especially if you're prepared.
Preparation is key, with most things in life.
Exactly. And luckily, our friends at XRT Logistics have outlined everything you need. First up, the bill of lading. Think of it as your container's passport.
Gotta have the right documents.
Yeah.
So, what else are we looking at?
You'll need a packing list, and I mean detailed, like down to the last teaspoon.
Wow, okay. They're not messing around.
Nope. And of course, a customs declaration form. But the good news is, a lot of this can be done online now.
Oh, thank goodness for technology.
Yeah.
No more mountains of paper to wrangle.
Right. Makes things so much smoother. But there's one more thing they emphasize. Proof of residency. You've got to show the UK that you're actually moving there, not just using this as some long-distance storage unit.
Makes sense. They want to make sure you're legit.
Exactly. And this next part is especially interesting for you, listener, since you're planning a full-on move. The UK has this transfer of residence scheme, TOUR for short.
Ooh, transfer of residence. Sounds intriguing. Tell me more about this tour.
Okay, so basically, if you meet certain criteria, you can potentially bypass those hefty import duties on your belongings.
Wait, seriously? That could be huge. What do you have to do? Jump through hoops of fire?
Not quite. First, you need to be moving to the UK permanently. No holiday visas, sorry. Second, you need to have owned your belongings for at least 6 months before shipping.
Okay, so no shipping over that brand new sofa you just bought on a whim.
Exactly. And lastly, you have to plan on using those items for personal use in your new UK home. No starting an international furniture resale business on the side.
Got it, so no funny business. You're genuinely relocating your life.
Exactly. But if you meet those criteria, the 2R can save you a ton. Definitely worth looking into.
Absolutely. This is gold.
Mm.
Okay, we've covered a lot. Packing strategies, dealing with customs, even scoring potential tax breaks.
We're on a roll.
But there's one more biggie we need to talk about. Picking the right shipping company. Because not all shipping companies are created equal, right?
Oh, definitely not. This is a big decision.
You want someone who's, got experience, a good reputation.
Right, like you're trusting them with your entire life, basically.
Pretty much. And you don't want any surprises when it comes to cost.
Oh, the hidden fees. The bane of anyone who's ever shipped anything, ever.
Seriously. So, transparent pricing is a must. And I think this goes without saying, but good customer service can make or break the experience.
100%. Someone who's responsive, who can answer your questions, hold your hand a little bit through the process.
Because let's be real, when you've got a container full of your belongings sailing across the ocean, you're going to have some moments of, where is my stuff?
Yeah.
Panic.
Totally normal. And that's where a good shipping company can really make a difference. Just knowing there's someone you can reach out to, get updates.
Exactly. So do your homework, listener. Read those reviews, compare quotes, ask around for recommendations.
Word of mouth is invaluable. And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Oh, for sure. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, or in this case, the most reliable shipping container. It's funny, this whole deep dive started with a listener wondering about shipping a half container. And look at us now. We've covered everything but the kitchen sink. Or I guess we did cover the kitchen sink, since it was probably packed in that hypothetical half container.
Right. It just goes to show there's a solution for everything.
Absolutely. Listener, if you're planning an international move, we hope you're feeling a lot more prepared, a lot less stressed.
Knowledge is power, right?
It really is, especially when you're talking about something as big as, moving your entire life to another country. So we've covered the what, the when, the how, even the who of container shipping, but let's end with a little something to think about.
A final thought. I like it.
The article we've been discussing, it focuses on the logistics, the practicalities of what you're shipping. But what about the emotional side of moving? If you had to choose just one thing, one item with real sentimental value to pack in that container, what would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think for me, it would have to be this old, beat-up photo album. My grandmother, she gave it to me years ago, and it's full of these old, faded pictures of our family. Some of them I don't even recognize, but they tell a story.
That's beautiful. It's like taking a piece of your history with you.
Exactly. And even though we live in a digital world now, there's just something special about holding those physical photos, feeling that connection to the past.
I totally agree. For me, it would probably be my dad's old toolbox. It's dented, scratched, missing a few tools, but I remember him using it when I was a kid, building things around the house, fixing whatever was broken. It always reminds me of him.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that.
So yeah, listener, as you're packing up your life, don't forget about those special items, the ones that might not have a lot of monetary value but hold a ton of meaning. Those are the things that'll make your new house feel like home.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the memories that matter most.
Absolutely. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of container shipping. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and learned a thing or two along the way.
Safe travels, listener.
Until next time.